Hello everyone and welcome back to Argentine style. And today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently because I'm going to be in the kitchen and we're not going to be lighting any fire. So for all of those who are looking for a fire video, you can go watch for the other ones. And for those who want to stay in the kitchen, stay with me because today's recipe is going to be really fun. So a couple of months ago I was in Italy and I realized how important the typical Italian bolognese sauce for pasta is. So I decided to kind of warm things up a bit. And I've come up with a recipe which stemmed from one of my friends who recommended me to use more ginger, and another friend who really likes to use chili. So what we're going to be doing today is a bolognese sauce for some gnocchis we're going to be cooking later. And I've got 2 pounds of finely minced rump. And then I'm going to have a whole chili. I'm going to have around 10 to 15 grams of ginger. I'm using 4 or 5 tomatoes. I'm going to have obviously some, these are actually smaller carrots. So you ideally would have one or 1.5 larger carrots. We've got a couple of onions. We're going to have some red pepper, green pepper, and of course we're going to be having garlic. Now the trick about this is to start by heating up either your olive oil or your butter with your garlic. So you're going to dice up the garlic really fine, we're going to see that now, and then we're going to be putting in our ginger, and then we're going to be putting in our chili. Now, how much this chili you want to use is going to be entirely up to how comfortable you are with spice. Now, for me, I'm going to be using around 3/4 of this chili, and I will be taking out all of the seeds, and then I will be putting that in with the garlic and with the ginger. I'm going to let that simmer for around 5 to 10 minutes before I put anything else in. And then obviously I'm going to make some tomato puree with my fresh tomatoes, and then I'm going to be putting in my onion, my carrots, and my pepper. And then once we've created our, you might say, the set or the base, we're then going to add our mincemeat. And the mincemeat, I'm actually going to put some black pepper, obviously my salt. I have some sweet chili flakes here. These are like just dried sweet chili basically. And I also have a little bit of curry powder left over from a curry experiment I did a couple of weeks ago. And it's just so good. It gives it like a really nice smoky taste. So we've been mixing that in with the ground beef before we put it in the pan. So stay tuned, it's been a really exciting experience and I hope you enjoy this Argentine style recipe. Okay, so step 1, I've diced some garlic, I have diced my ginger, and I've diced around 1/3 of that chili. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put some olive oil in the pan, and the first thing we're going to put in is our garlic, then we're going to put in our ginger, and then we're going to put our chili. So the first thing I'm going to put in is my diced garlic. Once my diced garlic has goldened up on both sides, which takes around between 2 to 4 minutes, depending on how hot your pan is, I'm going to put in my ginger and I'm going to put in my chili. So while my garlic and now my ginger and soon my chili is heating up in the pan, I'm going to be just dicing up 3 of these onions. And the thing about dicing onions is they start to cry. So guys, the solution goes. And not only do I cry, I actually then put my hands next to my eyes after touching chili, and that's not a very wise thing to do. So, this is the best solution when you're cutting your onion, when you're dicing your onion, just to use goggles. Okay guys, so here goes the ginger. And don't put the chili in before you've heated up your ginger. So for your tomato puree, I just got some homegrown tomatoes. They're not actually grown at my home, and we are literally just gonna put these through a blender and get some puree. Okay guys, so we're goldening up our onion and our carrot, and we have our red pepper over here. So before I put in the red pepper, I'm just going to give it a bit of a sprinkling of salt, and then we're going to put all of the red pepper into the pan. It might look like you've got a ton of vegetables in the pan, but not to worry, because once you start to stir this in and they start to cook, they will start to reduce and actually get a lot smaller. Now, before we let this simmer for around 15 minutes, we are going to be putting the tomato puree in the pan. So we're just going to let this heat up a bit, and then we're going to put in our puree. Okay guys, so the vegetables have pretty much all been reduced right down. I haven't put in any extra liquid yet, only a little bit of olive oil. And I put 2 pinches of salt at the beginning, and I've just put 2 pinches of salt, and I added a little bit of black pepper. So what we're going to do now is we are going to be putting in the meat, and in a few minutes we're going to be adding our tomato puree. So what I've done is, before I put the meat in the pan, I actually put in some of the spices on straight into the meat, and I mixed it in with my hands. I've put in the mince on top of the vegetables, and I'm now going to give it around 10 minutes. And I'm just going to continually be turning it so it gets evenly cooked. And then once it's cooked, I'm going to be slowly adding my puree. You don't want to add this all at once because it's going to cool it down too quickly. You can add it like in different halves, so maybe do a third, and a third. So the goal here is really just to grill the mince, and again, pretty controversial. Some people say you shouldn't add mince to fried vegetables. I've always done it, and I've never ever had a problem. And I think the important thing is just to keep the heat up, so your pan is always at least 80 or 75 or 80% heat. Okay, so I've had the mince simmering with the vegetables and obviously the spices now for around 10 minutes. And I've just been continually turning them, and every now and again, every 2 or 3 minutes, I put on the lid just to contain a little bit of the moisture. So we're going to keep doing this exercise for a few more minutes, and then we're going to put in the tomato puree. Okay, so the last step is put in your puree, and then just basically let the puree. You can do it a couple of attempts. You don't have to do it all at once. Just work your puree into the mince. Okay. And then just let the bolognese simmer for another 5 or 10 minutes. Okay guys, so we have been simmering the mince with the tomato puree for around 20 minutes now. And as you can see, we have an incredible bolognese. Now it isn't super red, and probably it's because I didn't put a lot of paprika in it, but you can add paprika if you wanted to have that reddy color, or probably more tomato puree. I like to keep it as it is, because if you add too much tomato puree, there's a lot of liquid, and it's obviously just going to be a different experience. So we're going to now put this on top of our gnocchis, and gnocchis are spinach gnocchis. So they are bright green and they look fantastic. So we're going to be putting the bolognese on the gnocchis. Enjoy.